Batter up.
Rock and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rock and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stacks and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NYMLB Talk with your hosts Rob and Chris as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, at NYMLB Talk. You can follow Rob at Armorowski. You can follow myself at CP7NY. If you're on YouTube, hit that sub button. We'd appreciate it. Anyway, what's up, Rob? We are both officially out of the playoffs now.
Yeah, well, that went pretty fast. And tonight, guess what, guys? We don't have a guest, so you're stuck with me and Chris.
That's it.
That's it. You got us and baseball talk. Hello, Joe Dell. The Mets. Yeah, okay. And there's Joe's contribution already to the show. And the Jets, too, while he's at it. Well, I can't argue with you, Joe. You're right. But anyway, so Chris, what's going on?
Nothing good, right, with the Yankees, right? The Yankees ended up, you know what? The first two games were killers, right? Right out of the box. They lost the first two games. Toronto was just offensively just destroyed our pitching. That game one was just right out of the box with Heel, and the bullpen just could not contain that offense. And obviously our offense couldn't get going. Game two, Max Fried did not step it up. We needed him to be the ace. Did not. He was horrible as well in game two. And I don't know. The one positive I came out of game two, or at least at the time, when the Yankees did score some runs at the end of the game, you know, garbage runs, whatever. They made it, you know, look somewhat presentable. But I thought that kind of was going to give the Yankees some confidence going into game three at Yankee Stadium. And it did, you know, Judge hit the big home run. He had a great game. They won game three, but then game four, the offense once again goes to sleep, and they ended up losing 5-2. So, and we're stuck here again with questions. What are we going to do in the offseason? Who we bringing back? Who we going after? So that's going to be the talk of the town, especially, and with you guys too. I mean, obviously we're going to be going through the same thing, right? What free agents we're bringing back, who we're going to look to re-sign or to go after. So we'll see. There's always next year. Yep. Maria's right.
Maria's right. There's always next year. And that's what we say as Met fans, we say that all the time. But, you know, I wish next year would get here already. You know, it's crazy. All right. So listen, a couple of good things came out of that series. Not a lot, but Judge at least had a good series. Okay. So hopefully for you guys, all that Judge chokes in the offseason stuff is over. What do you think? He had a really good series.
He did. No, he did. He hit great. Can't really say much about him, but the one thing you got to say though is that he is 33, right? He's going to be 34 at the beginning of the season in April. That's what you got to start thinking. Like, how many more Judge type seasons are you going to get out of Judge, right? How many more, 45, 50 home run seasons are you going to get out of this guy? MVP type seasons at his age. It's easy to say, oh, he'll be fine. He hasn't showed any regression whatsoever yet. But there's going to be a time, and it's going to happen quick too, right? It just does. So I'm just hoping he could at least have two more seasons where he's fine in the outfield. You don't have to worry about DHing him, because Stanton is still here for 2 more years, right? I don't see them cutting him. So yes, Dan Bellinger wants to opt out. I think it's $25 million he'd get paid this year. Otherwise, he opts out, and he's gonna get a big contract. He had a pretty good season with us, so really good defensive outfielder, could play first base also. So he's gonna get a big contract. I don't know if it's gonna be with us, but he's definitely getting a bigger contract than that 1 year, $25 million contract that he's opting out of. So
Yeah, well, you knew he was going to opt out.
yeah,
That's that's a no-brainer. You can't blame the guy. But will he return to the Yankees? Do the Yankees want him back? There's a lot of questions this offseason for, like you said, both the Yankees and the Mets. How do you feel about him? You knew he was going to opt out, but how do you feel about Bellinger, Yankees bringing him back, or trying to sign him at least?
Yes and no. I think it depends on how much. Because if you're going to go really like 6, 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. I don't think he's going to get that many. But if the numbers do get a little bit out of hand, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be right to bring him back. I don't think it's going to be smart. Do they go after? Do they go after Kyle Tucker instead?
Yeah.
The only problem is Kyle Tucker's going to have to play left field because Judge is in right. So that'll be at least for 2 years. Like I said, Stanton kind of holds everything up a little bit on what to do with Judge, because Judge can't do anything but play right field right now since DH is clogged up with Stanton. First base, it looks like we got Ben Rice at first base for the foreseeable future. He looks great. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting, like Bellinger is a perfect guy to re-sign because of his, he could play defense so well in the outfield. He could play first as well, very well. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to come down to money, right? Because you got to remember, you got Dominguez, who didn't play as much this year. You got Jason Dominguez coming back, and you also got Spencer Jones in the minors, who they got to figure out what to do with him, right? Are they going to bring him up? Are they going to trade him? They got to do something. He's 20, 25, whatever, 26. They got to figure something out. So
you're right. And Anthony Finkel, our good friend. Yeah, good season for the Yankees, but the Blue Jays had their number all season.
Yeah. Yep.
They did. And right now, to me, the Blue Jays look like a team with a mission, They looked good. And what we said it, once Vlad Jr. starts hitting, forget about it. And he got hot in the postseason, so
yeah,
that's a plus for the Blue Jays. But I want to ask you a question. How you feel about something since the Blue, you know what I'm going to ask you. Okay. Don Mattingly. Okay. Now the Blue Jays just knocked the Yankees out.
Yes.
But would you want to see them win the World Series because of Mattingly? Because I know you've always said you would like to see Mattingly get a ring.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
I'll say it this way. I'm not going to root for the Blue Jays to win, but if they end up winning, that's going to be my one saving grace. My one, all right, at least Mattingly's got a ring now. I'm happy. He made it to the World Series. He's got a ring. That would be the only thing. Otherwise, the Blue Jays, to me, I hate that team. I really don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to see the Dodgers win either. But
me either.
That's what we're kind of trending towards, right? We're trending towards the Dodgers again. Because they're getting healthy at the right time, or they are healthy at the right time now. So yeah, yeah. Listen, if the Blue Jays win, it's gonna stink because they do the most trash talking.
Yeah.
But on the other side, yeah, if they won, at least Mattingly would get a ring. So I'll have to appreciate that.
Yeah, except he's not going to have a ring as a Yankee, Chris. So that's,
yeah, I know.
That's another thing. I mean, I don't know. That's a rough one. But no one wants to see, excuse me, the Dodgers win it again. We're tired of it. But listen, the Tigers easily beat the choking Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, I said it. The choking Philadelphia Phillies, because they choke in the postseason. And I know people are going to say, well, at least they made it. They took the division. The Mets didn't play. You want to know something? Okay, you're right about that. But the Phillies with all the trash talk that the Philly fans do. Look what happens, Chris. Every
Oh,
postseason recently.
it does. It happens all the time, and I shouldn't talk because the Yankees do it too, right? It's just something that always happens, unfortunately. The Yankees got to figure it out, the Phillies, but unfortunately, there a lot of these, like the Phillies and the Yankees, we're tied to a lot of veteran players that are in their 30s, that are, on the back end of their career, and there's not much you could do with them, right? So they
Right.
got to figure out a way, because with the Yankees, this live and die by the home run, it doesn't work, right?
No.
It doesn't work all the time in the playoffs. Sometimes it does. Yeah. Sometimes it does. But for the most part, it doesn't, because you're facing so much better pitching, right? Obviously, you're facing the best pitching in the league, usually in the playoffs. So they got to figure. The problem with the Yankees is that when they don't hit the home runs, they can't go to that plan B and say, okay, listen, we gotta be scrappy now. Now we got to come up with 2 or 3 runs without hitting home runs.
Yeah.
Had a great season in the field, and up to 3 weeks ago, he was, exactly. Bellinger was really good for us. It's going to be an interesting decision on to sign him or not, because he's 30, I think, or 31. Let me just check.
Yeah, check. Yeah, I mean, listen, he did have Dan's right. He did have
He had a great season. I
definitely
agree.
did. That was a great move by the Yankees. They had to get someone after Soto left, and he did. He did a great job. But
he's
29.
Oh no, I'm sorry. He's 30.
So he's 30. Okay, so
he'll be 31 in July.
All right, so he'll be 30 at the beginning of the season. But look, like you said, with the Phillies, they do have a couple of free agents. Schwarber, of course, everybody knows is a free agent. Riamoto, he's one, and you know what? He looked old last in the postseason last year against the Mets. He didn't look that good. He hasn't looked that great anymore. So I mean, do the Phillies sign him? I don't know. I was listening to I love doing this. I was listening to the Philly sports radio station this morning just to hear them cry. They were talking about that, the team, and they were saying, do we fire Rob Thompson, or do we keep him and then just make a lot of moves with the team? What do we do? What do you think the Phillies are going to do?
Maybe a little bit of both, right? I mean, just like with the Yankees, like, is this going to be the end of Aaron Boone? I don't know. I don't think so, but 4 years, he's probably going to get more than 4 years, Dan. That's the problem, right?
Yes.
I mean, if he's 30, he'll be 31. He's going to probably want at least 5 years, at least, and he might get more. A team might, we might see a team like the Rockies or the Pirates or something go out of their way and try to sign this guy and give him an extra year, right? So I could see that happening. So it's going to be interesting if the Yankees go that extra mile for this guy. I don't know if they will. I'll be honest. I don't know if they will, because they have their 2 young outfielders and they got Judge.
Right.
The problem is they do need a center fielder, but Spencer Jones can play center, or he does play center. Dominguez used to play center. They had him in left. So maybe they get a 4th outfielder that could play center field to go along with them, because I don't think, if they're not going to sign Bellinger, they're probably not going to sign Grisham either.
And how do you feel about that? Do you want them to sign Grisham, re-sign?
No,
Grisham?
I would give them the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
Same thing with Bellinger. Give them the qualifying offer and just at least get something for them when they sign with someone else, because they'll both get decent contracts. Grisham had a great season too, but what did he do in the playoffs? Nothing, right?
No.
So that's the problem. You need guys that could make contact in the playoffs. It's not just about, a home run or nothing. If you can't hit a home run, listen, against Scooble, you're not going to get 2 or 3 home runs in the game, right? You're going to have to, kind of scrap out, hit here, a hit there, bunt them over, steal, whatever, and to get a run home. That's what's happening tonight with Seattle. Seattle got 1 run off him in 6 innings.
Yeah, he's just amazing. I'll tell you, he is just amazing. You're right. They have to produce runs. They can't rely on that home run, especially against a pitcher like Scoville. And that's what would happen if the Yankees did win and they had to play the Tigers in the American League Championship Series.
All right, here's a question I got for you. Like with the Mets,
okay.
if you're the GM and Cohen says, listen, you can only sign one of 2 of these guys, who would you sign, Schwarber or Alonso?
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna sign Alonso.
Yeah.
Just because he's Alonso. Schwarber, what did Schwarber do really in the playoffs again?
Oh, nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
They
one big home run.
Yeah, he had the 1 home run. What did he do against the Mets last year in the playoffs? He didn't do much. Listen, the guy hit all those home runs this season. He was a great hitter, but I'll keep Alonso. So that's my answer. And listen, the Dodgers beat the Phillies with Ohtani not hitting. Ohtani was 1 for 18. The only hit he had was the game-winning hit in Game 2. So Think about that. All right, Ohtani did nothing. I mean, he pitched, but he also gave up three runs when he pitched. Right. Yeah. So Ohtani was not even hot, and the Dodgers took the Phillies. It was pretty easy. Just imagine if he was hot, and what's going to happen? Ohtani's going to get hot.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's just a matter of time. He's one of those guys that we know always gets going right offensively, no matter what he's doing. So, I could definitely see. Besides Judge, most of the lineup did choke. Yeah, it is true. Who else hit in the playoffs for the Yankees?
Yep.
Other than Judge, really nobody.
Nobody. Nobody did. And I agree with you. I thought after in Game 2 when they scored the 7 runs and they came back, I said, well, now it's going to be a series. And we knew, for some reason, you just knew the Yankees were going to win Game 3 at Yankee Stadium. It was just, that it's just something you knew what was going to happen. But after that, it just died after that. They were horrible the other night.
Yankees hit 4 home runs in the entire series.
Yeah, and that's their strength. That's what you were talking about. And they didn't manufacture too many runs.
No.
The worst thing in the world happened. The Toronto Blue Jays got to celebrate at Yankee Stadium, and that's the worst thing. As a fan, you do not want to see that other team celebrating on your field, Chris?
Listen, I would think as a player, that's got to be the worst thing too, right? I mean, why would you want, it's the one thing you should be able to do is to protect your turf, protect your home field at the very least, right? And they couldn't do that. At least the Cubs, they went down 2-0 to the Brewers. They came home. They won those 2 games. You know what? If you're going to beat us over in Milwaukee. You're not beating us here. That's what mentality you got to have, right? When you're down 2-0 like the Yankees were. Like, okay, fine. You got us 2-0? All right. But you're not beating us here. If you're going to beat us, we're sending you back to Toronto. And, so it's frustrating.
Yeah, they kept the crowd out of it, which is, the crowd was not in it, and that hurts them. That place could have went wild. It was just
they had their chances. The Yankees had their. That was the other thing. The Yankees had their shots in Game 4. They had guys on base. They just didn't come through.
You're right.
They're up there. The one at bat killed me, and I'm sure everybody knows. And Dan, you were watching it. Bases loaded. They had just walked. Who did they just walk to load the bases? And then Wells came up and he swings at the first pitch.
Yeah.
And pops it up. Like, what are you doing? The guy just walked the batter. Take a pitch. At least take one pitch. Like, what are you doing? It's so hard to watch sometimes.
I know that was a problem because we were texting while that was happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? What?
What are you
Wait,
doing?
take a pitch. Take
Right.
a pitch. What's going on? We
The
we
guy
know to
just
take a
walked.
pitch. I know. We know to take a pitch. Come
Right.
on, take a
The
pitch.
guy
What
just walked the batter. Just sit there, take the pitch. See what like you could tell he was. Not that he was getting nervous, but you could tell he was losing it a little bit on the mound. Like
yeah.
let this guy pitch. Make him throw strikes, as as they would tell us in Little League, right? Make the
Yes.
pitcher throw
Make
strikes,
them
right?
you're right. Yeah,
So,
that's right.
but I guess not. So guys that and now the Yankees got to figure stuff out, right? They got to figure out Volpe. I mean, he was dreadful in the playoffs. 1 for 15 against Toronto with 11 strikeouts. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. He
Horrible.
shouldn't have been playing at all in game 4. I don't know why he
No.
started game 4. That should have been Caballero starting it
See,
short.
Chris, those things are coming from the front office. There's no way Boone's making all these decisions. We know that. We know it's totally different now with analytics and all that stuff. Where, like we were talking about it before we came on, right? The pitch count. Let's talk about that for a minute. A pitcher's pitching great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gives up 1 hit. He's in the 6th inning, and they're talking pitch count. The game has changed so much. You wouldn't when we were growing up, we didn't even know what a pitch count was.
No, they never showed that on the games. That was never part of the telecast. They never said, "Oh, he's up to 102 pitches now." They never even brought that up while we were watching games, right? We never knew that stuff.
Never. We didn't know how many pitches he threw. They didn't even. I don't even know if they knew. No, they didn't. They didn't let us know. It's not like it is now.
And look what happened tonight, right? Skubal pitching great, 6 innings, gave up 2 or 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 13, and they took him out after 6 innings because he was at 100. I think he was at 100 or 101 pitches. Why not give him 1 more inning? But you know what? Now Seattle ties it up. Now it's 2-2. So, yeah, baseball rocked in the 70s. Absolutely. Totally agree, Joe.
Like I always say to you, Chris, there's no way they would have been able to pull Bob Gibson out of a game after him only throwing 89 pitches, There's no way you're taking a Seaver out, but things are just different. I guess because of the investments, the money they pay for these guys. But if that's the case, why are there so many pitchers getting injuries and needing Tommy John? You never saw this much.
No.
Before Tommy John, really, you didn't even have a name for it. They just hurt their arm and, that was it. Now it's ridiculous what's going on. It's like every team has at least 1 or 2 pitchers who have to get Tommy John surgery like almost every year, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy how many pitchers have to, get Tommy John surgery out there, but you know what? Thank God they have Tommy John. Years ago, they didn't, before Tommy John had that surgery done, right? So at least they're able to do it and continue their careers. So
which is good, but they didn't get the injuries like they do now. It's crazy. Like now the Mets, Reed Garrett's gonna miss all of next year because he had Tommy John surgery. It's like every year a different player on your team has Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
Are they turning sports into video games? Do you think that's a good analogy?
Kind of. I don't know. I don't know about video games. What a big thing in sports now is fantasy sports.
Right.
So they're trying to bring in fans like that. That's why you always see stats up. You always see with baseball the stats. Football, you always say, all right, this guy carried 15 times, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's big. Fantasy sports is huge, especially in football, but definitely in baseball as well. So,
you're right. Let's get to the Dodgers Phillies game last night. All right, that was a great pitchers duel, right?
Yep.
And it goes into extra innings, and then what happened to the Phillies?
I felt bad for that pitcher, man. That made that horrible throw home. All he had to do was go to first, right? It was 2 outs. Your play was at first, and he, that's a guy that just choked, right? He just got nervous. Simple as that.
Yeah, that was Kirkering, right? And
Yeah.
listen, what happened was, you're right. When the ball was hit to him, he kind of he was I guess he bobbled it, and then he had to pick it up, and that's when he got nervous and he threw it home. If he would have thrown it to first, he would have
Yeah.
had the out.
Yeah, it was right to him too. It wasn't like, he wasn't leaning one way or the other. I mean, it was hit right back to him. He could have took his time and threw it right to first.
Yep, and Dan's right too. Yeah, Seattle took Kirby out, and Kirby was pitching a great game. We said it before, and the reliever gives out. Yeah, that happens all the time. It happens all the time. But Chris, you said you felt sorry for him. You know what? I never feel sorry for the Phillies.
I guess if it was the Blue Jays, I wouldn't have felt bad, but
yeah,
so I understand what you're saying, but yeah, I felt bad for the guy. It just choked. As simple as that. He just got nervous and got caught up in the moment. I guess I don't know.
What a way to lose the game too. That's just horrible way to lose the game,
not
especially
just the game, but the season. Right, your season's done.
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
You have to go home now. That's it. That was the last play. There was no more. All right, we'll get him tomorrow. Nope.
Yeah,
no
and
guys.
You got to go into the locker room, and of course, everyone's they're comforting him, of course, but you got to face the media. That's got to be the worst, man. And then those crazy Philly fans. All right, let's get back to the Yankees and Boone. Boone's not going anywhere, is he, Chris?
I don't think so. I doubt it, but. Listen, I'm never the one to say, oh, he should be fired and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I'm kind of with everybody because why not? Right? Why not get a change? If you want change, every year we change a player. We change this guy. We change that guy. This year, the plan B, because we couldn't sign Soto. So they added Bellinger. And I don't know. I just, at this point, if they did it, I know a lot of people would be happy. If they didn't do it, I know a lot of people wouldn't be happy. It wouldn't bother me either way because they're so into the analytics that they're going to want the next manager to do the same thing, right?
And that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's not, there's only a handful of managers now that make most of the decisions by themselves.
If that, I don't even think, maybe Bochy did, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Bochy,
Francona, right?
Yeah, I think do you think the front office of the Cincinnati Reds are telling Francona what to do?
I don't think so, but I think what they're doing with him is they're giving him the numbers and letting him manage. And I think that's what they should do with every manager. Like, here's all the numbers we got, what this guy hits on this day and all that stuff, and let them do their thing,
No, Judge had TBK, not to stick up for Yankees or anything, but Judge had a good postseason this year. He batted he batted 500, right, Chris?
Something like that. Yeah, he batted 600 in the Toronto series, 9 for 15.
Yeah, so this year you can't say that about Judge. In fact, what you could say about Judge is he's the only one who really did any hitting for the Yankees against the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that is it. Absolutely.
It's about winning. We're got to make. Yeah, well, of course.
And both teams, the Yankees got real quick. Their free agents this year are Bellinger, Grisham. We mentioned Goldschmidt. If he comes back, he'll be a part-time guy.
He said today though, didn't he say that he was going to retire?
I don't know. I seen that report. A lot of people were saying that. I don't know if that's official, so I'm not going to say that yet. Devin Williams, he's probably not going to come back. Luke Weaver, maybe. I don't know. Rosario, he was pretty good off the bench. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. Yarborough, good out of the bullpen, long in, give you extra innings. Austin Slater, no. Tim Hill as a club option. I could see him coming back. I would say, they need a lefty. Loizaga has a club option. I don't think he's going to come back because he's hurt every year. So I don't think he'll be back. But I think the big ones obviously are Bellinger and Grisham to come back or not. I don't think it'll be Grisham either because they're going to get multi-year deals. And Bellinger's going to get a big deal from somebody. I just don't know who. Might be the Mets. The Mets need him.
Yeah.
So it could
Yeah,
be the Mets.
it might be the Mets. You're right. And then we're gonna have to hear it again, like we did with Soto.
And like I said, the Yankees got to figure out what they're going to do with Volpe, right? You got George Lombard Jr. in the minors, not ready yet. So they're probably going to need a shortstop for this year. I think Lombard will be up in 2027. So they'll need somebody for this year. They still got Caballero. Maybe he could play short for the year and get someone else. But they got to figure something out with Volpe because he's awful.
He's not what you guys thought he was going to be.
He's like, he started off great his rookie year, but the next 2 years he's kind of regressed in every way, defensively and offensively. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with him there. And what are you going to do? Here's the other thing too. Like a lot of people are just assuming they're going to give Jazz an extension, right? Because he's going in next year is going to be his last year before he becomes a free agent. Do they extend him, or this offseason, maybe they're going to look to trade him, right? They might put his name out there just to see what they can get for him, right?
Right.
So because I don't know if he's a guy that they're going to extend. He doesn't seem like a Yankee player, right? I don't know. I like Jazz, but do you want to give this guy 5-7 years at whatever, right? I don't know.
No. Nah, no way. And if Bellinger leaves, then you got to worry. You got to worry about what's going on in center field, right?
Center field, you're going to need a leadoff hitter as well.
Yeah.
That's another big thing that we
maybe not as a full-time player, but would you like to see Harrison Bader come back to the Yankees?
As a fourth outfielder, yeah, why not? The problem is that if you bring Bader in, right?
Right.
You're counting on Dominguez and Spencer Jones to play a lot.
Right.
Now, if you want to go all in with those guys, that's great, but you got to remember, Spencer Jones is going to be a rookie.
Yep.
Dominguez, how much is he going to develop from this past year where he didn't play a lot down the stretch, right? I was talking with someone else. I heard that he's going to play in the Winter League in the Dominican Republic this year, to get some extra reps out there because that's what he needs. He needs reps in the outfield because before last year, he did get hurt with the Yankees the year before, and then he was hurt in the minors too at some point. So he's a guy that just has to get reps in the outfield. He's still young, right? You just got to get out there and play. So hopefully that helps him out. Spencer Jones, it'll be interesting. He's either going to get traded or he's going to be on the roster next year. I think that's the two options for him.
Well, and I think it depends on what happens with Bellinger too, right? So now, but you listen. Like you said, maybe the Mets go after him. The Mets need a center fielder. Look at the disaster last year was signing Siri and thinking that Siri, a combination of Siri and Taylor, were gonna, get you to the postseason, and then he breaks his leg in the, beginning of the season. So the Mets have to do something about center field too. The Mets have so many questions with pitching. They have a lot to do, but I'm not worried because Cohen could do whatever he wants. Right. I think signing Alonso is Cohen's decision because probably Stearns doesn't. If it was up to Stearns, I don't think that would be his priority. But that move is not up to Stearns. I don't think that's all up to Cohen.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's it. Cohen, listen, he just spent the most, the second most, right, payroll last year or this past year. And what did he get out of it? So I'm sure at some point he's going to say, why am I spending all this money? Okay, I'm still going to spend. I'll be at the top, close to the top, but I'm not going to be the top or second. Yeah. Maybe I'll be where the Phillies were, 5th, 4th, 6th, somewhere around there. So maybe he'll think about cutting a little bit of payroll. I don't know, but because they need pitching, right? You're going to have to, they have to get one of those free agent starting pitchers.
They
One
do.
of them, Dylan Cease, Michael King. One of those guys has to be a Met.
Suarez is also a free agent, I believe.
Who?
Suarez.
Yes,
From the
right,
Phillies.
from the Phillies. He is.
He's a free agent. So
I would want an ace, a guy like to
Yeah.
me. He's like a 2 or a 3.
Yeah,
I
yes. And
think
now
Cease is more of
and
an
the
ace.
Phillies are probably going to have to try to re-sign him anyway because of Wheeler, because Wheeler's not going to be ready. So I would think that the Phillies would want to re-sign
And
him.
he's coming back from a pretty big injury. So you got to think, like, what is he going to be when he comes back?
Right.
You know, he's not young either, right? He's like 34 now, I think, 33. He's
Yeah,
getting up there.
you're right. How's he going to pitch when he gets back after such a big injury?
Is he going to be the ace that he was, throwing over 200 innings and, you know, the 200 strikeout guy? I don't know. You know, that's a big question mark. They got the other guy. Sanchez is really good.
Yeah, he is really good.
So
yeah, the Mets. Yeah, the Mets. Listen, the Mets have the best farm system right now in baseball. The young kids. McLean looked great, so he's ready. Okay, Tong wasn't ready. They rushed him up. That was a mistake. I mean, that poor kid got shell shocked twice. Yep. You know, and
they should think about, you know, using some of these young kids and trading for a really good pitcher, right? I mean,
I agree. Listen,
may as well.
I agree.
Keep McLean. You know, maybe maybe trade Tong and someone else or something and get, you know, maybe you know, a top pitcher. You know, I know Alcantara from
Miami,
the Marlins, right? I don't know if Miami's going to make a trade with the Mets, but you know, you never know.
I mean, he started to look better towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a great year. I don't know if he's the same pitcher he was.
Yeah.
You know, that's a risky move. I think that's a risky move.
Well, yeah, think about some of the free agent guys, right? You got Valdez from the Astros. He's good. You know, he's 31. Freddie Peralta. Oh no, he's got a club option, so he probably won't be. Suarez, we mentioned. Dylan Cease. Shane Bieber from Toronto.
Yes.
Michael King. Zach Gallen.
So listen, there's some arms out there.
Yeah, no, they need at least one of these guys. I would say 2, but if they get one of those top guys, I think, you know, you sign a top guy and then like a second tier guy, like maybe like a Jack Flaherty, Nick Martinez from Cincinnati, Littell. I don't know.
But and you have to think about things too. I mean, they have young players that they could trade, but what happens with Vientos? What's going on with him? You know what I mean? There's a lot of
exactly. Figure out what they're going to do with him. You know, you would think Beatty, I think, showed enough that he could be the third baseman next year, right?
I think so. I think the Mets keep Beatty and use Vientos as trade bait, really. You know, they have so many young players that they could make a good deal. You keep McLean, probably Sprout, and you know, use Tong as trade bait, maybe. There's a package. The Mets, there's so many questions.
It starts with the free agents. I think to me it starts with Alonso and it starts with Diaz. Right?
And Diaz still has not made a decision if he wants to opt out yet, which is, you know, I mean, it's still, we haven't even hit the World Series, so there's plenty of time.
I would think it's only $15.5 million.
Yeah.
So
he may be waiting for the Mets to, you know, to offer him something. Who knows? Oh, they're going back and forth about about the 86 Mets.
Right. You do have to have a mix. I get it. Go Brewers, go. I'm with you, Candy.
Yeah, hi Candy.
We're all rooting for the Brewers.
Yeah, we definitely are. You know, the Brewers deserve to win. and to move on because they had the best record in baseball, right? So the Cubs have been tough though, Chris.
Yeah, no,
After
they came
losing
back
those
and won the
2
two
games.
games, right? Send it back to Milwaukee, but that's good. Now the Brewers could clinch at home. If they could win this, the game 5 tomorrow. Hopefully they
Yeah,
can.
and I think that stadium's going to be nuts. Really, Miller Park. I think they're going to go crazy. I think they're going to bring in the energy, and
Yep.
I'd like to see the Brewers win over the Cubs, definitely. But then it'll be a Brewers Dodgers National League Championship Series, which
I
would
like
be
that.
pretty good. I like
Yeah.
that too. So
That'll be fun.
we're with you. We're with you, Candy.
Definitely.
Definitely. We'll see what happens. And TBK says he likes and always have liked Vladdy. Well, listen, what could you say about him? He's great. And that's me and Chris talked about this before. That's what turned the Blue Jays season around. I said it when it happened. Signing Guerrero to that contract just put things in motion. I think it just made, I don't know, they didn't have to worry about that anymore. They didn't have to hear, is he going to go to the Mets because he didn't want to go to the Yankees? Is he going to go to the Mets? Once they did that, look what happened. Yeah, the Cubs. Yeah, Dan, you're right. The Cubs just don't want to go away, but we'll see what happens with them.
Paul Molitor throws out the first.
Oh,
There you go. That's how you get that place jumping, right? When you get one of those guys from the early '80s team, right? You bring Paul Molitor or Gorman Thomas, right?
Yeah,
one of those
Gorman
guys.
Thomas. That's
Robin
right.
Yount, definitely.
They'll go. They will go nuts. Yes. So that's going to be a good game. Candy, I hope we hope Scott's going to give you the night off and let you watch that game.
Exactly.
Right?
It should be a fun one. Yeah, it should be fun. The Brewers, right? They haven't won a World Series, so you'd like to see them win one.
Chris, Candy is the hardest working woman in podcasts and shows.
Exactly. She does all this, and she's got a regular 9-to-5 job. So
yeah, and she's the super stat for the South Florida Tribune channel. She's got all the stats ready. It's really great. She does a great job over there. But hopefully she gets to watch the game and she doesn't have to look up stats.
Yes,
but
Scott, give her a break and let her at least watch the game. That's all.
They do though. She's covering a football game. Candy, how could you do that? And TBK would like to see Jay's Cubbies. Want to see Bill Murray. Okay.
Hey, he's like, you know what? He's probably content with the one.
He probably thought
2016.
Yeah, he probably thought that he was never going to see it.
Right. 2016 was huge for them. They're probably like, you know what? All right, I could die now. I've seen the championship.
And we talked a lot about that World Series with Mickey Callaway last week, in fact, right?
Yeah.
About that. That was one of the best World Series of all time. You got to put it up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. It was definitely one of the best, for sure.
And Candy's going to be on the field taking pictures. Yeah, she does that. I'll tell you, she does everything. It's really I don't know where Scott would be without you, Candy. Really,
no, she does everything. She's like a utility reporter. Like she does everything. So,
yes,
Tigers on his side. Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah, we got that. It's 2-2. Oh, definitely, Candy. No, we appreciate everything you do. Definitely. So, all right. So let's get back to the Phillies for a second. Do you think Rob Thompson stays, or do you think the Phillies fire him?
I don't know. He might go. I don't know. Like, I don't know how. I think with the Yankees, with Aaron Boone, like Aaron Boone is great with the players, right? He's always sticking up for his players, all that, and the team. The players love him. The team loves him. The front office loves him. So I don't know if Boone. I don't know if Rob Thompson is liked as much as Boone is by his players and by the front. I don't know. I don't know that much, but me and you, like, I'll listen to, Philly radio, and there's not a person that calls up that doesn't want him fired, right? So maybe that'll get the team to move on from him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but you listen. You hear the Yankee fans all the time. I hear it. They want Boone gone. They
wanted him
enough.
gone after the first year. So like this has been going on for a long time.
You know what's funny? When it's been so long that we used to talk about this on SportsWire Radio. Remember all the time, like this has been going on for years that we've been talking about Boone,
and it's going to go on. It's going to continue if he doesn't get fired. If they say, "Oh, he's going to stay for next season," you're going to hear it all season. Oh, he should be fired. He should be fired. How about let's put the responsibility on the players, right?
Oh, right.
Boone could only do so much as a manager, right? It's up to these guys on the field. Make it happen. Like how many times, like I said, in that game 4 that the Yankees had opportunities with guys on base and they just couldn't come up with the big hit. It was like that. It's too much. And we're going on how many years of the same ending for the Yankees. It's always the same ending. The offense is quiet, every single offseason. Postseason, it's the same thing for the Yankees. Their bats just get silent because they live and die by the home run. And they don't know how, not that they don't know how. I shouldn't say that. Obviously, they know how to come up with more runs, right? They know how to get hits. They just don't. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You got to make contact.
You guys, listen, you guys aren't used to this really in the long run. It's okay.
We're getting used to it, though. We're getting used to it.
The last time the Yankees won the World Series, Pedro Martinez was pitching in that World Series.
Yes, for the Phillies.
Right. Okay, remember that.
It's crazy. 16 years.
I know. And Pedro's already been elected to the Hall of Fame and broadcasting for years. That's the last time the Yankees won the World Series.
I forget, Rob, that people, like say Madison, who we had on, right?
Yeah.
Like I forget that they didn't see, like they weren't alive for the late 90s run, early 2000s. So they don't have that to kind of fall back on. And like, oh, because like people who have seen that could at least say, oh, you know what? At least I seen that. The kids now, not the kids, but the people that are 20, 25 years old, they don't know anything about that. They don't know that run. That's like, our fathers talking about Mickey Mantle and stuff, right? Because it's like, oh, he was the greatest. We won all those World Series titles with those guys. They didn't have that run that we did. So not you, but Yankee fans did. So it's
not me.
Right, exactly. But I'm just saying, like, I thank God I have that. Like these kids or these 20-year-olds, they don't have that.
That's like the Mets, okay? At least, I was alive for 69. I remember it just a little bit. I do remember it, though, because I also remember the Jets winning the Super Bowl. And the Knicks won NBA championship all, in that one year. And I thought, wow, this is great. All my teams but at least I have 1986, okay? Some of these kids, they don't know what it's like to see the Mets win the World Series. They have no clue. They don't know. They've seen the videos. They don't know Game 6. Like, no matter what happens in the history of baseball, if you say Game 6, even if you're not a Met fan, you know what people are talking about, right?
Right.
Game 6. Everybody knows Game 6. These kids don't know what it's, they haven't seen it. So at least, the Yankee fans, if you're in your, not even if you're 20, because you're only 4 years old when they won the World Series.
Like if you're 30.
Yeah. All right. At least you saw the Yankees win a World Series. And that's crazy to think about it, Chris, because think about all the World Series the Yankees have won, right? And now there's a generation who they haven't seen it or remember. Like, Dan's going to sit with Bob Uecker in the
I
front
hope you
row.
don't sit with him, Dan.
Yeah,
Hope you're-
hey Dan, we don't want you to sit with him now, all right?
No,
Because
no.
you
No.
know,
We
wait
want
a
you to
while,
sit
Dan.
with, definitely
But
not.
no, but as we were saying, it's like all those World Series, and if you're under 25, you don't know. You don't know about the Yankees
Right.
dynasties or any of that. It's, you know, you just hear about it.
Right.
So
It's
Chris,
almost like it's almost like, it's like this fairy tale story of how great, Mariano Rivera was, and Derek Jeter, Tino, Bernie, all these guys, Andy Pettitte. You're like, man, like people my age or a little bit younger, like lived through that. And it was like unbelievable. Like every year it was like, oh my God, this is great. But
yeah, not so great for the rest of us, but
right.
I know what you mean. It's like if we think about it, like you said, you had a good analogy when you said about, our fathers with Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris or
Right.
whatever. That's us. And it's like Derek Jeter was just a kid coming up, right?
Yeah.
And now
he's on TV with Ortiz and
Yeah.
A-Rod, right? Like it's crazy.
And listen, let's talk about that for a little while. Man, did Ortiz really, I'll tell you, him and Vlad, you switched, right? You switched to the
No, but I did see it.
Okay, you did see it when they were doing their John Sterling
Yes,
impression where the Yankees lose.
Yes. Yeah, that was not good, man. I'm sure that was killing Jeter. Not
Yeah.
A-Rod as much, but
No.
Jeter definitely, because Jeter is, you could tell Jeter is like the ultimate competitive guy. He's kind of like how Jordan was, like he was competitive in everything. Like Jeter does not like to lose, right? So I'm sure that got him going,
Yeah, and listen, Big Pappy loved it, man. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
Ortiz loved it. He was going nuts, but it was that was a horrible moment for Yankee fans. But you know what? That one thing that the Yankees always come back, right? So they're going to be in it next year. But you guys want a different outcome, and I want a different outcome because I really thought that the Mets were going to at least make the postseason, and it was a disgrace what happened with the New York Mets. Okay, it was a disgrace going from such a great April, May, and then June comes, and that was it. They didn't deserve it. Cincinnati, they backed into it. They went nowhere, but still, they backed into it.
Yeah,
it was not
I
a big
agree. But
and
the
if
one
I
thing,
was,
at least going into the offseason, like with the Yankees, they know starting pitching not the problem on this team. They're pretty much stacked. They're looking good from the offense, from the rotation wise. Lineup is where they gotta figure it out, right? The lineup and obviously the bullpen. They gotta rebuild that bullpen. But and then switching over to the Mets, you need, like I said, a top of the rotation guy, an ace on that. Maybe McClain continues to develop and becomes an ace, right? He might be that guy. I'm not saying he's not, but you need that veteran ace at the top of the rotation. Senga, you can't count on him. He's always hurt.
Yep.
So he's a guy you're not going to be able to count on. Can Minaya bounce back, right? That's what you're hoping for now. So you need that top of the rotation guy, without a doubt. You need to re-sign Diaz. With that, I think he's a guy you have to, because otherwise, who else is a free agent? Helsley's a free agent. Do you want to bring him back as your closer?
No.
Right. So bring back Diaz, man. The guy knows. Listen, he could pitch in New York,
and he loves it.
Right. So just sign him. Just
when those trumpets go off, that guy loves when those trumpets go off. Are you kidding me? You see, he loves that.
Oh yeah.
We just have to. He just has to be careful. Is he going to pitch in the WBC?
Probably not. I would say no.
I think that the Mets should give him a bonus just not to pitch in the WBC because that ruined the
Yeah, it's
next.
just awful. That was just a freak injury.
He didn't even get hurt. The freakish thing is he doesn't even get hurt playing. He gets hurt celebrating. Like
right.
what the,
Right.
that's
Jumping.
the Mets. That's the Mets luck right there.
That was
that was crazy. So listen, you can't tell a lot of these players not to play in the WBC because to them that's pride, playing for their country. It's almost like the World Series to them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
I mean, and Judge's playing this year, right?
Yeah, he's the captain.
He's the captain. So the captain is the captain. So, it's brought a lot of these players who probably wouldn't play. Listen, I have to admit, at first I wasn't too happy about it, and then when the injury happened, that ruined things for me. But I enjoyed the World Baseball Classic the last time. All right,
yeah, it was a lot of fun. USA against Japan. When you had the Mike Trout versus Ohtani battle there, right on the last at bat, that was great.
Yes, that was great.
So you get those kind of moments, and it'll be great. I would love to see USA. It'll be really great if USA makes it to the finals again. And if it's Japan again, you'll know it's probably going to be Ohtani. Maybe it'll be Ohtani versus Judge this time in that last at bat. Because I don't know if Trout's going to play this year.
Yeah, Trout's another story. That guy, I'll tell you what. All that talent, and he barely played in the postseason during his career.
3 games.
3 games.
3 postseason games.
It's you got to feel for the guy, but he stayed with the Angels, and
he's still gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
he's still gonna go down as one of the greatest. So he's got that at least, but he's not gonna have the postseason. I wonder if they would ever trade him, or if he'd ever ask to be traded to a contender so he could, give it a shot. I don't know.
He might ask. I mean, I don't know. It may happen, but when listen, the Hall of Fame, it's great, but think about the players who are in the Hall of Fame who didn't even get to play in a World Series, okay? Like Ernie Banks is one of them. The Cubs never won anything. That's tough. It's like the ultimate, and if you've never won a World Series, see, at least, Jeter, could say he won a World Series. But like
Judge might be one of those guys that's going to go down as a great player that is never, he played in a World Series, but he's never going to win one.
Yeah, listen, Piazza played in 1, right? Didn't win 1. It's tough. But anyway, all right, we are running out of time, and it's still tied in Seattle, so we're not going to know. We're probably not going to know who wins that game.
Hopefully, I'm hoping the Brewers win tomorrow. Hopefully they get past the Dodgers. At least they're in the World Series, and we'll see who ends up here. I don't know. I mean, it could be anybody now because it's, like you said, it's tied in the 9th inning. Could go either way.
Yeah. So we'll know more, of course, on Monday when we're back at 3 p.m. on Monday.
Yeah, we'll have more of an idea of who's in the LCS.
Yeah, I'm working on the guests, and we're going to announce the winner of our contest next Friday. So you got a week. I'm going to post it on Twitter, but we'll see. So far, I mean, except for you and the Yankees, the postseason's been pretty fun.
It's wide open, right? All these teams, it's wide open for all these teams. Every one of them could win. There's not, anybody who's in it right now could win it, right? Nobody has that great team where you're like, oh, they're going to go to the finals. We're just saying the Dodgers because, they're the Dodgers, right? We seen them do it last year. So, but I can easily see the Brewers or the Cubs beat them easily.
Me too. I could see the Brewers beat. I could see even the Cubs. I could, yes.
Yeah.
But the key is, you got to hope that Ohtani doesn't get hot, because when that guy gets hot,
Yeah.
it's forget about it. But anyway, all right, Chris. I don't have anything else. Do you?
No, nothing much. Listen, if you guys were watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us. We'd really appreciate it. And the like button as well.
Monday, we do have a guest. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Monday, we have a great guest. We're going to go over the postseason, of course, but we have someone, and I'm going to make a promo. He wrote 11 books. Danny, his name is, about the Montreal Expos. So that's going to be interesting, because I just think that's amazing, the Expos history. So we'll do the postseason, then he'll come on and we'll talk. Chris, I'm interested in talking to him about
Yeah,
this.
no, me too. And there's the Netflix documentary coming out soon too about I don't think it's out yet, right? I think the Expos one is coming out in another week. So it'll be interesting to see if he was a part of it. He might have been a part of it, since he wrote 11 books about the Expos. I'm sure he had to be a part of this. So I'd love to talk to him about that and why the Expos left. And also, is there any chance of the Expos or a team going back to Montreal?
Yeah. And his name's Danny Gallagher, and he is, he's a historian for the Montreal Expos. I've been talking to him online, and he's very interesting.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him. So that's Monday at 3 p.m. We're going to talk postseason, and we have a guest, and it's going to be very interesting to hear about the Expos. So anyway, thanks for watching us tonight. And Chris, we'll be back on Monday.
See you Monday.